Although Russian propaganda is doing everything it can to convince the West of the so-called imminent collapse of Ukraine, few actually believe the Kremlin's statements. The endless stream of fake news from Moscow has done its job. Kyiev's partners see reports from the Russian general staff not as a source of information, but merely as a tool of information warfare. That's why the NATO Secretary General is urging allies to invest in weapons production and strengthen their defenses. It's time to figure out what Putin really wants, says Mark Ruda.
President Trump wants to put an end to the bloodshed right now, and he's the only one who can make Putin come to the negotiating table. So let's put Putin to the test and see if he really wants peace or prefers for the bloodshed to continue.
Ukraine already declared its readiness for a ceasefire several months ago, without any preconditions. But Moscow isn't satisfied with that option. They still hope to bargain for some extra benefits for themselves. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky explained why Russia rejects the idea of a ceasefire and insists on being handed those territories in the Donetsk region that the Russian army doesn't even control.
When we signal we stay where we are, the Russians respond that we must withdraw from Donbass, or else they'll occupy it anyway. And here I discussed this topic with the Americans. I said that there are a lot of insinuations here, of various times. For example, like with Kupiansk. They claimed that they had occupied Kupiansk, that we were surrounded, and so on. I was recently in Kupiansk and showed who actually controls this city. Russia wants to avoid expending resources and to occupy the east of our country by political means, through diplomatic and political channels. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine.
One of the reasons why Vladimir Putin refuses to talk about ending the war against Ukraine is the same detachment from reality. Russian generals assure the dictator that all the war's objectives will supposedly be achieved, and the Kremlin leader so badly wants to believe them. Especially since these generals, and even more so Putin, have never been to Kupiansk or Pokrovsk.